time for Cooking with Candy, and I am making salmon patties. Yes, I'm using the pink salmon in the can. You can use fresh salmon if you want to, but I wasn't raised off of fresh salmon. I'm from Chicago. We don't have a large body of water that produces fresh Alaskan salmon. So I didn't know what fresh salmon was until I became grown and bougie. So this is what I grew up on, and this is what I like. If you need the recipe for fresh salmon, I can tell you that because I've done them before with fresh salmon. I prefer to can, okay? Crackers. Any crackers will do. Any can of pink salmon would do. Any crackers will do. I'm just using these because I've already opened that box. Lemon juice, green pepper, red onion, cornmeal, and you will need egg. And then your seasons, you can season it how you please. I'll show you how I season mine, all right? Rice is going to be my side dish, and then some scrambled eggs is going to be my side dish because this is my brunch. I will also use a little inbread because I like to use the crackers to substitute the bread, but I will crumble up like a piece of inbread for my batter. So yes, a lot of people use bread. I will use a piece, but for the most part, I substitute it with crackers, okay? Okay, so once you've drained it, I got my helper here, so excuse that dish. I got it out the sink already. It was soaking a little bit. Okay, whatever. So now you gotta get rid of these bones because I don't eat them and they nasty. And my mama used to like chop them up and feed them to us. I don't know. I open it up and I just remove the bones as best as I can. Some of them are really soft, so you can't remove them. But you can see like the full spine of the fish and the bone. Okay? So I just try to open up each chunk before I start blending this and remove the bone. If you want to remove the skin, you can. Some people like to eat it that way, but I'm searching for a bone. Bam, there go a bone. If you can see it, I'll take those out because I don't like eating those. Some people do. You will get your hands dirty when you're making salmon. It's just meant for that. I mashed it up, and now I'm about to season it. Y'all like my apron? Tiana bought me these. She bought me a bunch of them, so I'll start modeling them. But when I'm dealing with this fish, I don't want to be, fishy like that. So my hands will already be fish. So I'm going to put some seasoning salt in it. It may have looked like a lot, but it's not. A little garlic. I have a light hand when I shake, so it's not a lot. I just know how to shake. Don't ask me for measurements because I just kind of go for how I feel and what I see. Because it's seafood and Ty loves Old Bay, she likes for me to season any seafood with Old Bay. So you'll get a splash of Old Bay in there because it reminds us of like crab cakes, especially. A splash of lemon juice in here. I like it. I think some people do. Some people use mustard. I don't. That's too bold for me in these seafood patties or salmon patties. All right, so I will now add some crunched up crackers. But before I do the crunched up crackers, I'm going to take a piece of inbread. And the inbread is that piece at the end. Some people call it the butt, whatever. I'm going to just take this and I'm gonna just break it up in small pieces, like if you were feeding a bird, how they pick little pieces. And I'm just gonna crunch these crackers up in here. And the reason for the bread and the crackers is because you need texture. Yeah, you need texture because if not, the food will cook and it get too mushy. So you need a texture. So what we're doing, little cornmeal, and again, what we're doing is we're creating like a stuffing for the salmon patties. Because salmon will get too mushy on its own. So I only have one can. I don't need a whole lot of cornmeal. But cornmeal gives it that texture, like that gritty texture. Not bad though. But it is going to be good. So I'm going to add my onion and I'm going to add my bell pepper. I'm going to use my little chopper tool to chop those up for me. And then I'll go ahead and add my egg because then it's time to mix. Added some onion, red onion. Some green pepper, a little yellow pepper, a little red bell pepper. And now I'm going to crack my egg in here. And I only need one egg. The more eggs, the heavier your salmon patties will be. I only did one can, so I only need one egg. So here's where you get your hands dirty because you got to blend it. I may need another egg because I think my stuff in it, my dry ingredients are too much. You got to blend this with your hands and blend it all together. All together. added another egg because you got to kind of go with the flow. It was still a little too stiff. And the egg is what keeps the patty together. So I'm going to play with this and mash this together. If you don't want to touch it, put on gloves. But if you want to get this smell off your hands, a lemon will take the smell of any fishy or anything you cook, onions, all that. It takes it right off of your hands. So you just want to rub your hands down with some fresh lemon after you wash them, and then wash them again, and the fish smell comes off your hands. Little beans, rice. If you're cooking with, some people don't know how to cook rice, but you got to know how to cook it. So for Uncle Ben's, it's a tougher rice. It's not like a rice land rice, which has more starch and less grain. So I'm going to do 1 cup of rice, and then I'm going to do 2 cups of water, and then I'm going to just let that boil. I'm going to dash a little salt in here, dash a little butter in here, but you can cook them at the same time. You just want to have double the portions of water versus rice. So for this rice, I did 1 cup of rice, 2.5 cups of water, and I dropped a little butter and a dash of salt. And I'm going to let this all start to boil. I'm going to stir it up as it goes, but I'm going to let it boil first. Once it gets to a rolling boil, that means boiling for a minute, where it's boiling all the way through. I'm going to reduce the heat to low, and then I'm going to cover it. And I'm going to let the steam and the rice absorb the steam and water, because that's what fluffs your rice up. If you have like a rice land rice or a different rice, you might want to boil your water first and then add your rice. But because this is a tougher rice, this Uncle Ben's, I do it together. And my cast iron. And what you really want to do is make sure it's not no fluids coming out of here and that they're real tight. I tested it. It's warm enough, so it's going to cook it thoroughly. You don't want to put too much grease in it because it'll saturate into the patty. You want it to be enough where it balances the bottom, because you're going to flip them. But if you put too much, or if you try to deep fry them, it'll saturate your patty too fast, and your patty will start falling apart. And you don't want your patty to fall apart. You want it to stay like a burger. All right. You should let them cook until they brown. It doesn't.
Look at that.
So once it browns, you can see it browning. You want to turn it. Be careful not to splash it because it's really hot.
Isn't it time to cover this rice now?
Yep, we can cover the rice now, and then you're going to turn it down.
Now, this is the key, y'all. Allow the steam to cook the rice. Do not overboil the rice. Sorry, don't mean to put my drill sergeant voice on. Be right back. Key to fluffy rice. You're going to turn it on low, right, Mommy?
Yes, baby.
Apply the lid. Don't take the lid off, because the steam is the key to fluffy rice. Now back to you.
All right, so I flipped these, and I'm going to let them brown on the other side, and they're done. That's pretty much it. Once you flip them and you get them a little consistent, you want to smash down on them because you want to make sure that everything in the middle of it is cooking evenly. But yeah, baby, these look fine. So once all the water has pretty much boiled out, you're going to finish covering it. It has enough steam in it. You turn all the heat off and you move it to a safe place where it's not going to be on. And when it's finished, it'll look like this. Brunch is served. Salmon, rice, eggs, and some little buttered croissant rolls. Bon appetit.